Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. I'm Lakbe Banjol with the news on the hour. President of France, Emmanuel Macron, who is currently in Mauritania for the African Unit Summit, will on Tuesday visit Nigeria. AFP reports that the visit is primarily for talks with President Muhammadu Buhari on security and terrorism challenges, after which Macron will also be spending some time at the New Africa Shrine in Lagos. Originally founded by Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti, the Africa Shrine was later rebuilt and renamed New Africa Shrine by his son Femi Kuti. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transportation, Dr. Taiwo Salam, while confirming the visit, said there would be traffic diversion and restricted movement from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. in the Alausa, Africa Shrine and Agidingbi areas during the visit. He urged motorists to make use of the alternative routes that will be provided. The Nigerian army has confirmed that 32 Boko Haram terrorists have willingly surrendered to troops in various locations within Borno State. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, in a statement on Sunday, stated that amongst them was one Ibrahim Lawal, who surrendered one AK-47 rifle. He added that over 2 magazines with 59 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition were also handed over. The surrendered terrorist, he said, will be handed to the proper authorities on completion of interrogation. Nigeria may cease to exist within the next 6 months unless there is change in the system of governance. Senior advocate of Nigeria Chief Robert Clark, during an interview, said this, and he quoted that he does not see any hope for the nation from an alleged looming implosion of several political parties ahead of the 2019 elections. According to him, the parties go into their primaries ahead of the polls. They will either sink or swim together. And the governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, said on Sunday that these recent killings in some parts of the country, especially Plateau and Zamfara states, were beyond religious sentiments. Okorocha stated that no religious group is spared in the killings, as in some of the incidents, both Christians and Muslims had been the victims. He lamented that people have lost their sense of value for life with the rate at which bloodletting is going on in the country. He also noted that the country is at the moment passing through difficult times and urged religious leaders and all Nigerians to pray for God for the peace of the country. Meanwhile, the Catholic Bishop of the Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kukah, had said though prayers are important, it is not enough to end the killings across the country. Kukah made the statement when he spoke at the graduation of students of a school in Abuja. He advocated for practical steps to be taken to stop the killings in the country, noting that it was unacceptable for those he described as men and women of darkness to take over Nigeria. The cleric stated that those in power understand what needs to be done and the people need to be properly communicated with. And in a swift reaction to the proposed strike by workers of the Ministry of Justice, the Cross River State government has threatened to invoke the no work, no pay policy should they proceed. Chief Press Secretary to the state governor, Mr. Christian Ita, in a press release to this effect, said the proposed action today by those he described as a certain group of people under the umbrella of the Law Officers Association of Nigeria, and which was a regrettable decision. Mr. Ita said the group was not part of the NLC and the 2EC, therefore cannot declare a strike against the state governor. He urged the public to ignore anybody or group claiming to support the group, as the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state will not hesitate to implement the federal government's no work, no pay policy should the need arise. The Federal High Court in Abuja today granted bail to the immediate past National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, after having been detained for 2.5 years by the Department of State Service. Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu, while delivering her judgment on the suit filed in March 2018 by the ex-NSA, stated that his detention since December 29, 2015 amounted to a violation of his right to liberty. The judge, however, rejected Dasuki's prayer for 5 billion naira in damages and granted him bail in the sum of 200 million naira, with 2 sureties who must either be civil servants or of grades level 16 in the Federal Civil Service. alternatively private citizens with landed properties in the municipal areas of Abuja. She ruled that the contention by the federal government that Dasuki was being kept in custody on the grounds of national security on allegations of money laundering did warrant abrogating his right. She added he could be brought in by the DSS for questioning between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. 1,200 members of the Maize Farmers Association of Nigeria in Daura local government area of Katsina have been registered under the federal government anchor borrower scheme to receive agricultural inputs to boost production. Malam Anwar Danjuma, the chairman of the association, revealed this today in Daura at the inauguration of the distribution of agricultural inputs for the wet season to registered farmers. According to him, each farmer will get 20 kilograms of improved seedlings, 2 bottles of herbicide and 6 bags of fertilizer per hectare, payable within a year, and to be monitored by the Agricultural Department of Daura Local Council. Meanwhile, the assistant chairman of the association in the state, Alhaji Rabe Daura, issued a warning to farmers, advising them not to divert the inputs or use them improperly. In a related development, Alhamdu Teneke, the Hama Bata of Adamawa State, has allegedly said during last Tuesday's attack on Bare and Dawaya communities in the Demsa local government area, in which 21 persons were reportedly killed, herdsmen issued a quit notice to farmers asking them to leave and never return. As a result, there is tension in the affected communities and farmers are unwilling to return to their farms. This could lead to the huge possibility of famine in the coming weeks and months, as most farms have been destroyed by the suspected herdsmen. Alhamdu made this statement yesterday while hosting the UN Women Media Network, stating that women and children bear the brunt of the attacks. According to him, the indigenous Numan people are living in fear, and if the government fails to intervene during the current season, they will starve to death. INEC has said it's taking hard-hitting measures to protect smart card readers and PVCs from unauthorized and mischievous access. INEC's Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Oluwole Osaze Uzi, in a statement in Abuja, said yesterday that the Commission has received reports of attempts to duplicate its PVCs and sell them online. He also added that the electoral body will involve government and security agencies in curbing the menace, noting that INEC had participated in this and has proactively taken measures to preserve and secure electoral materials. He said INEC will commence systematic hardware and software upgrades of all its smart card readers nationwide, commencing this week. And we'll take the foreign news just after this break. Welcome back to Plus News on the Hour. On the foreign scene, CNN has reported the rescue of all 12 boys and their coach from a cave in Thailand. According to a high-ranking person involved in the search and rescue operation, the boys, who range in age from 11 to 16 and are part of the same soccer team, have been missing for 9 days. Late last week, trekkers discovered a hidden opening deep in the jungle, giving an alternative point of entry to the cave system. A park officer first sounded the alarm after spotting the boys' bicycles near the entrance to the off-limits cave complex. Some good news there. Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi, speaking in Amman, said he would travel on Tuesday to Moscow to meet his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. The Russian-backed Syrian government has launched a major campaign to recover southwestern Syria from rebels. Jordan will hold talks with Russia this week over a ceasefire in southwestern Syria and help to assist the humanitarian situation there. Australia has withdrawn direct aid to the Palestinian Authority on the grounds that their donation could increase the Palestinians' ability to pay citizens convicted of politically motivated violence. In the announcement made on Monday by Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop, they cut funding to the World Bank's multi-donor trust fund for the Palestinian Recovery and Development Programme, after writing to the Palestinian Authority in late May, seeking assurance that Australian funding was not going to Palestinian criminals. According to the Australian Foreign Minister, any assistance by the Palestinian Liberation Organization to convicts of politically motivated violence is an insult to Australia and undermines the prospect of meaningful peace between Israel and the Palestinians. The 10 million Australian dollar donation will now be rerouted to the United Nations Humanitarian Fund for the Palestinian territories, which provides vulnerable Palestinians with healthcare, food, water, improved sanitation, and shelter. More than 1,000 people have drowned in the Mediterranean this year, sailing from Libya to Europe, with a rush in the past few days to beat an anticipated crackdown by the European Union. Around 204 people have died in the past few days after being packed into unsafe vessels by smugglers, and many more lost on Sunday when a rubber boat capsized in the Libyan capital of Tripoli, while 103 lives were lost in a shipwreck on Friday. The other main route from Turkey to Greece, used by more than 1 million people in 2015, was largely shut 2 years ago. The journey by land through the Sahara and then across the Mediterranean remains the world's deadliest migration route and as polarizing as ever in European politics. We'll take business just after this break. Welcome back to Plus TV on the Hour. The Central Bank of Nigeria, through the intervention of its Consumer Protection Department, has facilitated a refund of 60 billion naira charged to customers by their commercial banks on the 31st of March 2018. This was disclosed by Dikbo Fatokun, CBN Director of Payment Systems Department, at the Meet the Executive Forum organised by the Finance Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Lagos over the weekend. He said such resolution would help build confidence in the payment system. The Apex Bank has also mandated all commercial banks to solve issues surrounding the use of unstructured supplementary service data within 3 days. Taiwo Oladimeji, the Assistant Director of Banking and Payment System Department, who represented Fatokun, said the maximum USSD transaction limit remained 100,000 naira per customer per day. Oladimeji added that the amounts over 100,000 naira require a customer to execute indemnity at the bank. The Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria has said that its debtors will no longer have any room for negotiation as it plans to implement the seizure of assets of its chronic debtors. Mr. Ahmed Kuru, Managing Director and CEO of AMCON, disclosed this in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria yesterday in Abuja. He also disclosed that the corporation will go after the directors and private companies of debtors where registered assets of the companies are not enough to clear their obligation. He said that part of the 5.4 trillion naira debt had been with the banks for 5 years before it was taken over by AMCON, and 7 years later, after the takeover, the debtors are still yet to pay. As at the end of 2017, about 740 billion naira worth of debt had been recovered by the corporation. And we'll take the entertainment news right after this break.
In entertainment, the late reggae legend Ras Kimono, who was 60, passed away on the 10th of June 2018, will be buried on the 25th of August 2018. In a release statement from the family, they said, "We wish to inform the general public of the burial ceremony for late Ras Kimono, and has been scheduled for August. The program for the event will be made available in due course." The family also went further to appreciate everyone who has supported them during the trying times and prayed Almighty God to guide and protect them all. Former UK X Factor judge and Girls Aloud star Cheryl Cole is splitting from Liam Payne. The announcement was made via social media as they revealed that they are going in separate directions. For the two celebrities, it has been a tough decision for them to make, but they have so much love for each other as a family. Cheryl, who is 35 and who also has gone by the names Cheryl Cole and Cheryl Fernandez Versini during previous marriages, posted an almost identical statement on her social media. They share one child together, Bear, who was born in March 2017. At the time of the child's birth, Cheryl posted a photo of Payne cuddling their newborn. Payne made reference to their son in his statement, adding, "Bear is our world, and we ask that you respect his privacy as we navigate our way through this together." NBA star LeBron James is heading to Los Angeles Lakers, and for a lot of money. According to TMZ, a report was released from Clutch Sports saying LeBron James has signed a 4-year contract with Magic Johnson's team for $154 million. According to the team, the deal went down the moment he landed in Los Angeles over the weekend, although James has said he will be declining his $35.6 million contract option for next season. Reports say he's expected to make an official announcement about his new team on Tuesday. British diver Tom Daley and his husband, American screenwriter and director Dustin Lance Black, have welcomed their first child together through surrogacy. In February, the couple announced they were expecting their first child together via surrogate, and they shared a photograph of them holding up a sonogram of their impending joy. The couple celebrated the arrival of their son with an announcement in British newspapers. They also disclosed the name of the child, Robert, who was named after Tom's dad, who passed away in 2011 from brain tumor. Tom and Dustin will raise their son in London and get married in May. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports is coming up right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Neymar and Firmino scored as Brazil defeated Mexico by 2-0 to move into the quarterfinals of the World Cup in Russia. And Mexico have been unable to break the supposed round of 16 curse. And this makes it the 7th time Mexico will get knocked out in the last 16 in 6 consecutive World Cups, losing to teams like Bulgaria, Germany, United States of America, Argentina, Netherlands, and of course Brazil. And the next second round game of the day is the game between Belgium and Japan. Let's see how Belgium go up against Japan in that one. And going straight to tennis, Roger Federer began his quest for a 9th Wimbledon men's singles title with a routine win over Serbia's Dusan Lajovic. And for Federer, he won 6-1, 6-3, 6-4 against the world number 57. And the Swiss was in strong form as he continued the tradition of the defending men's champion, opening up Monday's play on center court. And Federer will go on to play either of Slovakia's world number 73, Lucas Lacko, or France's Benjamin Bonzi, ranked 284th in the world. And the 20-time Grand Slam champion needed just 79 minutes to see off Lajovic, who also lost in straight sets to Federer at Wimbledon last year. Still on sports and, of course, tennis, talking about the Wimbledon Open. U.S. Open champion Sloane Stephens became the biggest casualty on the opening day of the Wimbledon's women's singles as she lost to world number 55, Donna Vekic. And the 4th-seeded American, who was beaten by Simona Halep in last month's French Open final, looked out of sorts as she fell to a 6-1, 6-3 defeat. And her Croatian opponent came out strongly and looked more confident throughout, with her big hitting causing problems. And there were also wins for Caroline Wozniacki and, of course, Venus Williams. And that's a lot of sport updates on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Back to you, Lakbe.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's the news at this hour. I'm Lakbe Banjo. Do have a great evening.